Uh, anyways, well, we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll show up late. Alrighty. That's good. Well, actually, I don't need this, do I? It's right here. Okay, so good to see you all. Assuming you all know which class you're supposed to be in and you're in the right class, it's Encountering Sacred Writings. If it's not the right class, then you're in the wrong room. You got to find your class, wherever it is, okay? But since you all seem to be aware, then you know which room number it is, and you know the days, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the time. I'm Dr. Matthew W.I. Dunn. It's my name and my email. I'm an adjunct here, and adjuncts don't really have an office over in the department, so I don't have any office room number. Because I don't have an office, then I also don't have a dedicated phone line, so there's no way to phone me. There's no extension. So the best way, if you want to meet me, is we make an appointment. Okay, we discuss the time and place where we can meet, and to email me. That's the best, well, really the only way to, well, you can talk to me, but really the best way to contact me is to get me at my Gwynedd Mercy email, okay, because that's what I'll be using to talk to you. Okay, so I'm just going to go over the syllabus today. This is the first class, so this is our contract, and I'm going to go over the terms of the contract, and not word for word or line for line, but to just give you the basic points. And Mr. Morita, you've heard most of this before, so if after I get, through the schedule, maybe the schedule of readings, you can go, because you're not going to hear anything original, because it's the same syllabus. I'm keeping the same dates and times as another class I'm teaching, so I'm not, you don't need to know that, but Mr. Morita should know that. Anyway, so what's the course description? I start out with a course description that's in the undergraduate catalog. And what is the course about? It says this. This course introduces students to the issues involved in reading and understanding sacred texts. It's in brackets because they misspelled texts. So I corrected it. Whether one reads texts as a believer or not. Given the nature of Gwynedd Mercy University, the biblical texts of the Old and New Testament, which I don't know what other Bible the Old and New Testament is kind of the Bible, but okay, it's a little bit redundant, form the core of the course. To provide comparisons and contrasts with the Judeo-Christian biblical tradition, some selective writings from other major religions will be examined in a limited manner. Okay. I did not write this description. These descriptions are written by other people. And then, as with any course or any professor, I think, you have the description in the catalog, and then you kind of tweak it to your own likes and dislikes and what you can do and what you can't do in a semester. And so that's what I'm going to do. I will basically do this, obviously, but there will be some things where, I'll try to do, but probably won't do, like, just talking about the Bible, mostly the Bible is what they're saying here. Just talking about the Bible is enough for a semester. Even it's more than enough. It could take the whole year, okay? It could take 2 semesters, even more. So I don't know that I'm going to get into giving you selected texts from other major religions, which also have, some of them have immense numbers of scriptures, like Hinduism, more than the Bible, more than Judaism and Christianity. So that's probably not going to happen. I'll try to make it happen if the moment arises, but that might not happen. Indirectly, we will in some ways when we talk about some of the sources for the Bible and we look at like ancient Near Eastern mythologies that are part of their religion. So in some ways we will, but I don't know if I'll be able to provide that. But the rest of it, yes. So we'll look at the Bible, okay? And as Gwynedd Mercy presents itself as a Catholic university, okay, much of the course will be focused on, well, first of all, we'll be using a Catholic Bible, the accepted Bible of the Catholic Church, but also from a Catholic perspective of how Catholicism, the Catholic Church, looks at the Bible, looks at the sacred scriptures, interprets them, appropriates them, etc., and so forth. Okay? As I say here, I just want to warn you, there's a lot of material to cover in the course, okay, in regards to the scriptures. Okay, so I can't guarantee that I will get through everything that they want me to get through. If I can, I will. Now for the course, obviously then, if it's going to be Bible focused, sacred writing equals Bible here, then you're going to need a Bible. And that should already be on the portal. If you went on the portal and looked up the class information, I put information on there about the required texts. And this is one of the New American Bible Revised Edition, which is put out by the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops with their approval. It's a Catholic Bible. So I give you the information for that, the ISBN number that you can find it online. Please buy it if you haven't. If you're Catholic, this is probably a new thing to you. Maybe this is the first time you're seeing a Bible. Maybe you've heard rumors of a Bible. Maybe your priest at church or during confirmation class mentioned something called a Bible. And I thought only Mormons have Bibles, anyways, but here it is. And so if you already have a Bible of your own, then that's fine. Then you don't have to buy it. Obviously, you don't have to buy a new one. But if you don't, I would suggest that you buy it because we're going to be reading from it a lot. And let's say you don't have a Catholic version of the Bible, then that's okay. You could still use the Bible that you have. You don't necessarily have to go out and buy a new one because you can find the Catholic books, the extra books that Catholic Bibles have online. So you don't. But I would recommend, if you don't have it, that you get the New American Bible Revised Edition. The other required book for the course is this, Introduction to the Bible by Stephen Binns, okay, which is, I think you can see, very thin book. Dr. Dunlikey, because I don't want to read it, No, I did read it. Look, so you got my highlights. So I did read the book. But, I wanted something that was a good introduction, very clear, or clear enough, and covered all the points that I wanted covered, but was pretty thin. And this is good, because you're going to be reading most of it. I don't think I have you read each and every chapter from the book. There might be one chapter I don't have you read, but for the most part, you'll read most of the book, almost the whole thing. And so it's nice, it's pretty clear, and it's short. So, it's not, I didn't want it to be oppressive. I wanted you to benefit from it, but I didn't want it to be an oppressive thing to read, okay? Because you are going to read from that as well. And there will be additional material as assigned by the instructor. There will be a lot of additional material assigned, okay, that I want you to read and look at. Almost every week, every class, you should expect some form of reading. Much of it I try to keep short, okay, just so you know. But I can't tell you that it's all short. There are some readings that are maybe a little bit longish, and I'm sorry for that, but like this first reading I'll talk about from Colmus later. Just plow your way through them and do the best you can with them. Speed read, whatever. Do what you can. But be aware of them because I will ask questions about them on the quizzes and the tests, which leads me to the course requirements. And here are the course requirements. There'll be one final exam at the end of the course, which will be cumulative, so it will include everything in the course that we've gone over. It'll be 120 questions, I should say, no more, and you'll have 3.5 hours to take it, and this will be during exam week. Okay, so I'll mention a little bit more about that later. So one final exam. There will be 5 quizzes throughout the course. They are not cumulative, okay? So they only cover from one class to the next the material we've covered in that period of time. So, you don't have to worry about, as the course progresses, it's it's quiz 3 and he's going to ask us stuff. You could ask us stuff potentially from the first day. No, it'll be from when the last quiz was given until the next quiz is assigned, all right? So it's not cumulative. And you should expect 50 questions on a quiz. And you'll have 1.5 hours to take each quiz on Canvas. These are both on Canvas. We have one paper, one written assignment, not very long. I mean, I want, a minimum of 800 words, which is about 2 pages. Oh, we got somebody. Who we got? Hello, sir.
Sorry.
I understand, sir. Let's see. Well, going to assume that that's not you. So I'm going to assume you were Jeffrey Plange or Plange?
Plange.
Plange, okay. Okay. I'm just talking about the syllabus today, sir. Just to recap, the main thing that I spoke about was if you don't yet, make sure you get the required books. You need a Bible, okay? And that's on the syllabus. It tells you what Bible to have. And this book, Introduction to the Bible by this guy, Binns, which you can also purchase online. So that's also in the syllabus. That gives you an ISBN number. So you go on Amazon and search for the ISBN number and you'll find it fine, okay? If you don't have it already. Hopefully you do. Does everyone not have Binns' book yet? Does everyone have you don't have Binns' book? Okay, so you don't have it, 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 okay.
Yes. I'm sorry if I missed it. Is it in the library or it's something else?
Is it? Oh, I'm sorry. I never checked to see if it's in Keith's library. Huh, that's interesting. Hold on a second. Let's take a look. I don't know. I know it's on the portal, and I entered the information, and that's but I don't know that the bookstore did not have it when I searched for it. Okay, so I don't know that they would have it. All right, so you might have to look online at like Amazon or something else, an online store. Hold on one second. Let me see if they have it in the library. It's an off chance. No. Herman Binns, or Binns. It doesn't look like it. It's not coming up. Try Steven. I hate this search thing. It never just dumps everything and does journals, everything. Let's go back. Cookies disabled. Requires cookies. Why don't we have third-party cookies disabled? Why would you need third-party cookies? Yeah, it doesn't seem... Okay, so it doesn't seem like my searching here, without doing any further digging, that Keith's library has the book. Okay, so you're going to have to get it on your own, or for yourself, I should say. All right, so please get it. I don't think we have a reading for a while, though. Let me check the readings. Let's see when's Binns come up. Leviticus. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to read from chapter. The first reading is from chapters 3 and 4, and it's on September 19th. So it's near the end of, or certainly after, halfway through September. So you've got, I think, plenty of time to get the book. So get the book as soon as possible, please. And it is available online, because obviously that's where I got it from. So Amazon, Barnes & Noble, what have you. Okay, where am I? Or was I? The paper. Oh, yeah, the paper is like 2 pages long. It's like 800 words minimum. If you want to write more, that's great. Try not to write less, because you'll get points deducted if you don't give me even the minimum that I'm asking for. There's one discussion board where you will, give a post or upload a post or a thread to the discussion board, and then you will reply to 2 other threads by other students. And then there's finally class participation. participating in the course, obviously, and I give you the percentages for how each one will be weighted. Final exam is a lot, 40%, quizzes are 20, and then after that, the papers 15, 10% for the discussion board, and then 15. Okay, so you have to do at least one of each of these elements. You have to do at least, well, since there's one, you have to do the one. Okay, so you have to do the final exam and the paper and the discussion board. You have to do at least one of the quizzes, otherwise you fail the course. That's my basic standard because, I don't want people trying to figure out or calculate how much they can do or not do in the course, which now I'm not saying anyone would do it, but it happens sometimes where people try and figure out, well, okay, how can I just get out of the course with a passing grade and what's the minimum of work I can do? So I'll just do one or two of the quizzes or something like that. No, you can't really do that. You have to do it, or do none of the quizzes maybe. You have to do at least one thing from each grading element. So just so you know that. So you're going to have to take at least one of the quizzes in addition to the other stuff. Yes, sir.
Are the quizzes online or?
Yes. Yes, sir. All the tests, the exam, and the quizzes are all on Canvas. You'll take them all on Canvas online, okay? Not in class. They're not on paper. So you can take them on your computers, okay? And I'll speak a little bit more about the quizzes as I progress. Let's see what I'm talking about now. But if you don't do, say you don't do any of the quizzes or you choose to sit out the final exam, just know that you will automatically fail the course. It doesn't matter if you've done other stuff in the course, but you have to do each of the grading elements, is my point. Class participation is a little bit different, so I discussed that below.
There's only one paper?
Only one, yeah.
Cool.
I'm glad you like it, sir. I was going to require two, but I didn't want to read two. Anyways. The grade scale is this. This is pretty standard grade scale because I got it from a sample syllabus that was sent to me by someone in the university, so this should be the normal grade scale that you're familiar with. So just there it is. Not much more to say about that. If you want to read more about it, you can look at the syllabus. Okay, there's a copy of the syllabus on Blackboard, a copy of the syllabus on Canvas, and there's also a copy, an email that I sent out to you the other day. So check your email account. Actually, there are two copies on Canvas. There's a link to the syllabus, but there's also, I believe, I put a PDF file in with the readings, I think. I hope I did. If I didn't, then I'll check it. Okay, tests and assignments. There are quizzes. There's a quizzes and an exam. The purpose of the test is mainly informational to make sure that you're taking in the information from the course. There's going to be a lot of information in this course, probably more than the Christianity course. Although there will be, I shall say, Mr. Marino, there's going to be a lot of overlap, and I apologize for that. But just some things I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. There are some things I'm going to talk about in this course that I talk in other courses. So I'll be reusing that material. But there's going to be a lot of new information. It's going to be all about the Bible. And if you know the Bible already, that's great. But my experience has been that a lot of people don't know the Bible very well. Even if you've gone to Catholic school for 12 years. God bless you. But, and I know they talk about the Bible and maybe have some readings from the Bible in Catholic school. And maybe you've heard it at church at Mass, okay, where it's read. Maybe the priest or deacon preached on it. Let's hope. But my experience is that a lot of people don't have even basic knowledge of what the Bible is. And this is more of a course on not just what the Bible is, but how to read the Bible. It's the countering of the Bible as well. So it's going to be a lot of information, all right? A lot of definitions and words that you've never heard before, and concepts that you've never encountered before. And you might find that some of the things that you've been told to believe or thought you believed about the Bible, maybe they're not so accurate, all right? And that's okay. But just so you're aware, I don't want you to be surprised and freak out on me. But that's what the quizzes are for, to make sure that you're taking in the information, you seem to be understanding it, and you can basically give it back to me. All right, so that's what the quizzes are going to do. What's on the quizzes? Oh no, I was right. What's on the quizzes? Because people like to know. Sometimes people are curious. They want to be prepared for what they should expect. Basically, multiple choice, true, false, some matching. Almost never am I going to ask essay questions or fill-in questions and stuff like that because it's just too complicated. It's just too complicated to construct. It's easier to have stuff that's pretty transparent, like a true false. It's either select true or false or something like that, or matching things. So, okay, sometimes I might have fill-ins, but almost never will there be short answers or essay questions. I will, the class lectures are fair game for the material. The readings, you should expect questions on the readings, and any educational aids, so the PowerPoint slides, which I'll give to you because I'll use them every class, so you deserve them to study from. And even they should make your life easier. You can print them out and stuff like that, or download them to your computer, and you can either type over them or write your notes on the PowerPoint slides and stuff like that. Hopefully they can make your life easier. Okay, I already told you about how many questions you should expect. Okay, I have a little section about online testing. Hopefully there are no problems with online testing. Try to be sure or make sure that you're taking the tests with the appropriate technology. Don't try to take them on your cell phone, please. Because you don't know what will work or not work with Canvas. It's not a very well-constructed technology to begin with. And if you're trying to use it on Safari on your iPhone, it might be glitchy. And, might close the browser and submit your quiz and you're only halfway through. And then I got an email saying, oh, Dr. Dunn, I only did half the quiz. I need to do it over, And what happens with that? So basically in this section, I'm warning you and I'm telling you what I will do if that happens. If you've seen the test and something happens, there's a technical issue, you need to take it over, this is what I'm going to do. Hopefully it doesn't happen. But I explained that there will be a deduction because you've already seen part of the test. It's only fair to the people who didn't. If I have to restart a test for you, there will be a points deduction for a quiz or for a final, depending on whether it's a quiz or a final exam. And you'll have so many days to get it done. So you can read that if you're curious, if you're worried that might happen to you. You especially don't want that to happen during final exam week because at the end of the week, final exam week, it's closed. I got to get the grades in. There's a very short period of time in which to get the grades with the university. So I can't really offer any extensions during exam week. You'll just have that week, that time, those days to get it done, and that's it. And once it's over, it's over. So be very careful during exam week, and you want to make sure that you do take it early in case there are any problems. Hopefully there shouldn't be. Okay. Go through this. If you want to read more, obviously there's more information I'm not going over, so you can read it in the syllabus. If you're curious, and hopefully you will be curious, although I find that most people don't read contracts, so... I do. I always went through my syllabi just so I could highlight the information so I knew there were no surprises. I knew what I was expecting. But a lot of people I find don't do it, and then something happens, and then there's a surprise. It's the end of the term, and someone sends me an email saying, oh, Dr. Dunn, why did I get this kind of final grade? Why was it? I thought I should have gotten this, but I got a little bit off. And, oh, did you look at page 17 of the syllabus? You did this. This happened. Okay, it's better to be forewarned, Okay, for the quizzes, I give you all the dates. So if you want to even print out a calendar off the internet and fill it in, so you have, post it on, tape it on your wall in your room, so you have the dates and stuff. Good, but you also have it here in the syllabus. And, basically on these Fridays at 6 p.m., I will upload the quiz, make it available on Canvas. You'll have a week to take it till the next Friday. Okay, so you got, I think, a generous period of time in which to take the quiz. Okay, try not to waste it. Okay, I understand some of you might be working or have family issues or whatever. But so you might not be able to do it until later in the week, but just be aware of that. You don't want to have any problems. So I give you a week. I already told you about that, about the time limit. The date for the final exam is here during exam week, as I said, when you have all of exam week. That's basically our class meeting for exam week. You're meeting me virtually by taking the final exam that I would have given you in class online. So don't come to class. You don't need to come to, unless you want to sit here alone with your computer. I guess if they allow that, fine. But, basically don't come to class that day. You don't need to be in class. You have that exam week, or period, I should say, to take the exam on your computer. Assignments are comprehension. Assignments are focused on your understanding of the course. How are you able to take some of the ideas and principles of the course and apply them? Okay, so it's not just spitting out facts back to me. It's taking the facts that you've learned and showing that you understand them. So that's what's going to happen on the paper and the discussion board. Okay, those also, Mr. Kazin, will be submitted on Canvas. Okay, so you'll submit a document file, a Word file on Canvas for the paper, and the discussion board will be on Canvas, and you'll go on there to put in your thread and your replies. The paper is due in early October, just so you know. And what does the paper entail? It's 800 words at least, which is roughly 2 pages, single-spaced. Okay. Just so you know, I don't think that's very long. I hope that you don't think that, just, because I don't want people to worry, because sometimes people, how much do I have to write? It's 800 words. Please put your name on it with the course and the paper number, just so I have identifying information. Yes, Canvas will probably tell me whose work it is already, give me your name. Okay, but I'd like to have this on the paper itself, in case, I'm looking at it and all I have is a file and I don't know who it's from and I don't know what course it's from. I can probably tell from context, but or even what paper it is sometimes. So please put this information. I am giving it to you right here. All you have to do is copy and paste it and put it into your, changing the name and put it into your paper. So if you don't do that, you're going to lose points. Okay, I'm going to deduct points if you can't even do that. The person can't even do that. Because I'm giving it. Oh man, I hate these touch screens. But the touch screen's off. I didn't even touch it. I was barely just body heat. And I don't got that much body heat. I'm like a snowman. Let me see. Maybe that turns it off. Okay. Whatchamacallit? Where am I? So I just want you to know that, okay? And it should about the requirement. And, the paper, some more information here about how to write the paper and whatever. It's not a writing intensive course. So as long as you're consistent, you should be fine. Okay, as long as you're consistent, I'm not going to worry about what font you use. Like, was it Arial? Was it Times New Roman? How big were your margins? Within reason. I mean, don't give me like 5-inch margins or something. No, I've got this little line of text. I've got to read like 30 pages for 2 pages. I'm just kidding around, but within reason. But I'm not going to really grade on that. If you're inconsistent, though, if you're sloppy, if your formatting is all over the place, like you have a paragraph that's in bold text and another paragraph that's in another font, and it's like sloppy, basically, then yeah, you might lose some points, just so you know. So I just kind of want to say that to you, and I mention it in the syllabus. Try to be consistent. The discussion board, again, I will give, just like with the paper, I'll give you something to, maybe a video to watch. And I already know in the case of the paper, I'm going to give you a video to watch. I know which video I want you to watch. I'm still not exactly sure what I want to do for the discussion thread. But anyways, you have like a video to watch or something to read, and I'll ask you a question. I'll say, based on what you watched or what you read, what did you agree with? What did you disagree with? Or what did you find challenging? What made sense to you? What didn't make sense to you? Or I might ask you to explain, what is the Catholic Church's view of sacred scripture or inspiration, the idea of inspiration? What makes sense to you, what doesn't? And then you would address that, either in the paper or in the discussion board. And in the case of the discussion board, you would be required to give me one unique thread where you discuss the question, you address it, and then you would reply to 2 other students, their threads, okay? And you'll be graded on how well you do that. You know, if you give me a thread that, you know, uses materials from the class lectures, talks about the reading, gives me examples from the reading, shows that you've tried to think about it, you'll most likely get a good grade. If it's sloppy, if there are misspellings, if you don't give me anything, you just give me generalities and you don't really address the reading, then you're probably not going to get a good grade. If your reply to a student is something along the lines of, hey, really like that, you know, that tells me nothing. You know, that doesn't tell me very much, other than that you liked what the person said, you know, which is all about you. It's supposed to be the thread of the person that you're responding to. But if you give me a detailed reply with like, hey, you know, Betty, you know, I like how you said such and such because it makes sense to me because it ties up with what this we learned in class or this is, then you're going to get a better grade or a good grade on your reply. So that's how you work with that one. There's no word limit or anything that I impose for the discussion board. You know, it's kind of up to you to tell me, to show me how much you want to show me or not show me, you know? Okay. Class attendance. Okay, this is your job. Yes, Mr. Morita, this is your job. You might have other jobs that you're working at, real-world jobs. Okay, that's fine. But this is, for me, this is your job, and this is how I'm going to treat it. Okay, right now you're a student. This is your part of life. Okay, your ashrama. Yes. From Hinduism, you know. First you're a student, then you're a householder, you have children and family, you're a businessman, and then you end your life becoming an ascetic, moving out to the forest and studying the sacred writings of Hinduism until you die or achieve liberation. Yes. Anyways, so you are now students. You're at that stage of life, okay? So this is your job, okay? I expect you to be here, just like you'd be expected to be at work. Try to be on time. Try not to leave early. I understand that there are times when that's going to happen. People get sick, get in a car accident, or you just have other things, a conflict. Maybe you have a job interview you need to go to. Okay, I understand. So I try to be flexible, but I have to say these things in the syllabus to make it clear what the expectation is in case there are any problems. Right? So if you're here when I take attendance, then you're present. Obviously. If you're physically absent when I'm taking attendance, then you're absent. But if you arrive physically to class later after I take attendance, I'll mark you late. Okay? So if I finish taking attendance and I start teaching the class and doing things and talking about stuff, then I'll mark you late. All right? Unless otherwise indicated, which I'll mention in a moment, no absence is excused. Okay? And I have to say that because I don't want anyone to think like, okay, you know, so maybe I can negotiate some absence. No absence is technically excused by me. I might be flexible, I might understand, and if you do send me like an email explaining this is my, and you should, I'd recommend that, you know, saying this is my situation, this is why I was absent. I can take that into account at the end of the term. Okay, so just so you know. So I'll try to be flexible. But I want to be clear that I'm not, just because you send me an email, it doesn't mean that, okay, it's okay. You know, he has to accept it. No, I don't accept it. It's not excused. I expect you to be here. Just like anybody, your boss would expect you to be. Want to know, where are you? Okay? And the university wants to know these things because there are in some cases legalities involved. Like if you're receiving funding or scholarships and stuff like that, then the government or whoever is, you know, doling out the money, they want to make sure that the people are actually attending the classes. They're actually attending, because there have been issues, from what I've been told in the past, of people, you know, that makes me laugh too. People defrauding the government, Mr. Kazin. Anyways, you know, I don't know. I'm not a criminal, so I don't know how it works. And I guess I shouldn't say these people are criminals, but it's apparently a scam where they'll get federal funds saying they're going to a school and then just never show up, and then they run away with the money. Okay, so you have to check and make sure, and the registrar wants to know. So I will be taking attendance. It does matter, and it will affect your class participation in the course, because obviously if you're not here, you can't do something. And if you're not here, you're also not taking notes. You're not getting the information. Not getting the information. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing on your side of the bargain. So, what's that? Oh, okay. Anyways, brain freeze there. Anywho. If you are absent for more, this is my policy. I give you 4 absences where nothing will happen, okay? If you want to email me about those 4 absences, that's fine, that's great, so I know what's going on, okay. But there are basically 4 class meetings, which is essentially 2 weeks of the course, which is, it's a significant chunk, where a person's not here, then nothing will happen. But after those 4 absences, if you still decide not to show up or don't show up, then there will be a 5-point deduction from your final grade for each and every absence after that. If you are absent for 8 class meetings, which is around a month, basically a month, we have like 8 to 9 class meetings in a month, I won't pass you at all, no matter what you do, okay? No matter what the reasons, they simply won't pass because that's like a third of the course that you're missing. So be aware of that, okay? And I say that strictly, and I want to say it clearly because people do push the limit, sometimes even go over it. And I'm not going to allow it. You will automatically fail. If you are late, I give 7 class meetings because I understand people need to be late sometimes. Things happen, and they are late. So 7 class meetings. But if you are late after those, then there will be a 2-point deduction for every time that you're late. Again, try to send me some kind of email because I can consider it at the end of the semester. I'm not saying that I'll wipe it away, but I'll consider it. Okay. There are 4 exceptions to this policy, and if you fall into any of these, if you have a disability, if you have a disability, if you are an athlete, if you're a military person, or if you're a religious person. So if you have a disability, then you need to have an accommodation letter explaining maybe certain days, sometimes you need to leave the classroom, maybe if a person gets agitated or something triggers, then they might need to leave, or might not be able, if someone has cancer treatments or something that they have to go to. They might not be able to come to class regularly, then you need an accommodation letter. You can't just tell me, I'm not going to be here on these certain days during the, you have to get an accommodation letter. You have to tell the university. I can't give you an accommodation. If you're an athlete, then you have every right to be excused for your games, not for practices, however, but for official games that you're going to be going to, then yes. And there's also the case that you should be handing in a certain form. There's a form that's supposed to be filled out, and I mentioned that below, and I give you a link to it on the athletics website. Almost never see it used, but apparently it's supposed to be used if you are going to be absent. If you're a military person, which I don't know if anyone is, but just to say, if you have an obligation that's going to be 2 weeks or less, then that's excused, not a problem. But if it's going to be beyond 2 weeks, then you need to contact the registrar because other things have to happen. You might not be able to complete the course if you're deployed for longer than 2 weeks. And if you have a major religious holiday that you're supposed to attend, you're supposed to it's a requirement of your religious belief that you do that, then that's fine. Just let me know. You'll be excused to participate in that class. More information you can read. More information that you can look at yourself. Maybe I should have said that, but oh well. Class participation. I hope you'll be active in the class, paying attention. I do let you use your computers. I don't ban computers from the classroom or anything, and I have in the past, but I just decided, okay, because people can certainly take notes on them, and maybe I might want you to look at something on the internet or something like that. But I expect you to participate, to talk, to maybe do readings from the PowerPoint or whatever, to ask questions, to be paying attention. So you might have your computer, but I don't expect you to be watching, videos of, some dog playing the piano or something, which is very cute, I know, but paying attention to me during that time period, even if I'm boring, and I know it can be excruciating, like now. And I understand, something can be excruciating, especially if you have to take it and don't really want to take it, but you got to get through it. Understand? But please don't ignore me, because that could affect your class participation rate. What am I looking for? I give you a grading scheme for what I'll be looking for, because it is part of your grade. It's 15% of your grade, so it can harm your grade. It can take you from an A to a B maybe, or something like that. And if that concerns you, then pay attention to it. What should you be doing? It's not just that you come to class and are taking notes, but that you're paying attention, you're doing readings, you're not just sitting there, you're certainly not ignoring me, texting on your phone or on your tablet or something like that. Okay? And by my subjective judgment, this is what I'll be looking at the end of the term to decide, how did yeah. Sure, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's not, that's all right. Yes, okay, you don't have to ask me if you need to go to the bathroom. We're all adults here. So, trying to treat you like adults, but I'm trying to make clear to you what's the expectation. I trust you. So yeah, it's my subjective judgment. So, if a person, let's say a person's in the C range, they sometimes had the books and the materials, they sometimes took notes, but a lot of times they just sat there, so they're average, but they were a good average, they're maybe a little bit better than just, sitting there. Maybe they did do some readings. Then they might get a 79 out of the C range. But if they really did just sit there, and they might get a 70. So there's a range, okay? It's not just one grade in particular. And it'll be my subjective judgment how I will try to take notes and make notes for myself of who participates and who doesn't, and I'll look at that, but it'll also be my judgment of how you did. So it's not just about taking notes, because a lot of times people say, well, yeah, but I took notes. Well, what else are you going to do? You got to remember stuff. That's part of the process, I would hope. It's not the only part. And if you're absent or late, then obviously you can't participate. So the same standard is being used here as with absences and lates. If you're absent more than 4 times, then there'll be a lowering of the number grade. So let's say that C person I'm talking about, then instead of getting a 79, person will get, a 75 or something, or 76 or whatever it is. If they were absent more than, say the person was absent 5 times, then I'll lower it. If the person was late or left early more than 7 times, okay, then that would affect the grade. The class participation. The class participation grade, okay? Not your overall grade, but the class participation grade. If you actively ignore me, okay, and be warned, this is your only warning about this. So I have it in bold type in the syllabus. I don't want to police the class. I don't see that as my job. You're adults, so I'm assuming you can make educated, rational decisions about what you need to do. But if I'm walking around the class and I notice someone is texting or is watching something on her computer or his computer, I'm not going to necessarily call you out on it. I might say something and ask you, just pay attention, or I might say something. But I might not. And if it happens enough, I might make a little note for myself, actively ignoring. And then what's going to happen is that you will lose a letter grade. It's very serious. I take it seriously. I want you to be able to pay attention to me. Due dates and times. Try to get things done on time is basically what this section is all about. And you should be aware of that. I'm making you aware of it in the syllabus. I'm giving you the specific dates and times. It's your responsibility to make sure you get stuff in, and so you should be proactive. There should be no problems handing stuff in. You shouldn't have to hand it in late, or there shouldn't be problems taking the quizzes online. If there are, I'm going to be like, it's just your responsibility to address these problems. If you have technical issues and stuff like that, that's not my job. That's for information technology, and I give you their information here in the syllabus, their phone number and their email, so you can contact them and their website to help you. Okay, that's not my job. That's their job. That's what they're getting paid for. If your work is late, like your paper's late, or you do the discussion board late, there'll be a 5% deduction. Canvas will just automatically take that off for every day that you're late, turning something in. Okay, we can skip over that. And now the schedule. Okay. There is a lot of readings. So I outlined for you the topic and the readings for each day. Today's the introduction, so I'm talking about the syllabus so you see it, or not see it, but you've heard it, you understand it basically, and if you have any questions, you can ask me now or later. And then on Thursday, we're going to start talking about what is writing. So I'm going to take this kind of logically, I think. It's encountering sacred writings. So first, what is writing? What is the sacred? What do you mean when we talk about the sacred? What is, therefore, a sacred writing? And what does it mean to encounter it? And basically, the rest of the course is going to be talking about what that encounter entails, all the different ways that a sacred writing, i.e. the Bible, is being encountered by us. Okay? So Thursday, Sacred Writing Part 1. I'll take two classes to talk about just basically what does it mean to write? What does the word mean? Where did writing develop and stuff like that? And you can read this article by Florian Kolmas, What is Writing, in a book that he wrote. It's longish. I apologize, but it's not a difficult read, but it's just a little longish read. I'm sorry for that. I try to keep most of the readings rather short. And then after that, next Tuesday, you should have read from the Bible, from the second book of Maccabees, two parts of that. Oh, I should mention that before I forget, before I get into it. I'm assuming you understand how to read a book. If I say to read from chapter 3, then if you don't know where chapter 3 is, you can look at the table of contents, and you can find chapter 3, and it'll tell you the page number, yes? Okay? The Bible is the same way. Okay? The Bible has a table of contents at the front, or should, most do. So if I tell you to read from the second book of Maccabees, then you just go to the table of contents, and you look through it until you find the second book of Maccabees. It tells you the page number. Go to that page number. Now, what do I want you to read in the second book of Maccabees? Chapter 2, verses 19 through 32. All right, so there are chapters, just like in a book. 1, 2, 3, they're numbered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So go past chapter 1, you find chapter 2. All right. Now, the lines, or many of the sentences, have little numbers in front of them, so you can find more specific things in the text. Okay. You don't just have to look through the whole chapter. I want you to find verse 19. So you go down. It starts with number 1, of course, logical, and you go down till you find the little number 19 in the chapter, and you only read from 19 until 32. That's it. Simple. All right. It's a pretty simple system. Okay. And that's how you do anything in the Bible. There are some books that are too short that they don't actually have a chapter, like the third letter of John or something like that, which is just a little letter that's preserved, and it's only by verse numbers. But for almost every book is going to be the chapters and the verses. So that's how you find stuff in the Bible. And if you don't have Second Maccabees in your Bible, you can also search for it on Google, and you'll find it online, so you can find it there. But if you have a Catholic Bible, it's there. So this is the list of readings. You want to print this out or have this so you can follow the readings from week to week, do the readings from week to week. That Colby reading is also somewhat long. Sorry about that. Anyways. And I tell you how we're going to proceed. I already told you. Writing, what is the sacred, what's a sacred writing, what's an encounter, and then by the middle of September, we'll start getting into the Bible itself. First, we'll look at ideas of revelation and inspiration in the case of a sacred writing, and really any sacred writing. It's kind of like what makes it sacred, that it's revealed by a God, or it's inspired by a supernatural being. And then we'll talk about the Catholic Church's understanding of what the scriptures are. So we'll talk about tradition and magisterium, what the Bible is, where it came from. We'll look at some church documents in October, some church documents that popes have written in the last couple hundred years. It's funny that it took almost 2,000 years to actually have a document by the Catholic Church on the Bible. Been using it for that long, but anyways, beginning with Pope Leo XIII, we'll look at that. And then we'll look at how to interpret the Bible, hermeneutics, interpretation. How do we do that? What are some of the historical ideas of interpretation, like the senses of Scripture, seeing different levels of meaning in one biblical text of the Bible, not just the literal meaning of what the words actually mean, but also there's spiritual meanings that people look for. Talk about the Bible and truth. That's a big one, I guess. But only one class for that. Maybe I might talk longer about that. Is the Bible true? The historico-critical method, how the Bible is generally studied today using the tools of history and archaeology, textual studies, manuscripts, and stuff like that. Just give you a brief overview of that and how it's done. And then we'll get a crash course in reading the Bible, parts of the Bible. And that's where you're going to get a lot of Bible reading, so be aware of that. You'll be using the Bible extensively. You'll be using the Bible before this, but you can see, and a lot of don't be scared off by some of these things. Like, they look like there are a lot of readings, but in some cases it's just a chapter, like Psalm 89, or a couple of chapters. It's not the whole book, all right? Okay, so you can take a look at that. Now, last thing I want to say, and as I want to talk, that's pretty much the course, all right? So you pretty much should have an idea of what to expect and decide whether you want to stick with the course or not stick with the course. And if you don't want to stick with the course, vaya con Dios, baby. I don't take it personally. I won't be offended. I understand. But that's what's gonna happen. That's what you should expect over the next several months. Please don't, when you're doing your work, don't cheat or plagiarize. So the statement on integrity and what will happen if I find that, or I believe that a student has copied either another student's work or has copied someone else's work and has claimed it as his or her own. Sampling. I mean, this is a whole big thing in rap and hip hop. But it's been a brewing controversy for a while in rap and hip hop about people sampling other people's songs in their songs, which some people argue is an essential part of the genre. Other people argue that you're violating my copyright. I'm due royalties, and so they take them to court. You got these rappers and hip hop artists suing each other, and people are like, "Yeah, you're destroying the industry," because this is just part of what you do. You mash stuff together from different songs and make something new, creative. You're an artist, okay? Don't be an artist. At least be your own artist. And really, it's easier, I think. It takes less time to just write your own work than to go on the internet and find and really do research, which is what you're doing, and finding other people's stuff and copying and pasting it and then figuring out where it's going to go in your paper that you're going to claim as your own, but it's a pastiche of other people's stuff. Just write it yourself and it's done. I don't know why people don't get that when they plagiarize, but people still do. I think they think they're saving time, but really they're not, as much as just getting it done yourself. So please don't do it. And if you do it, if I think there's a violation, I outline here what will happen. Outline here in the syllabus what will happen. I have a section on the conduct of the course. If the class is canceled, if the university cancels the class or I have to cancel the class, what will happen? Because we still have to meet. There's a certain number of instructional hours that are required by the government. So I will record a class and I will post it on YouTube, upload it to YouTube, which I will then make available to you for you to watch if there's ever a class cancellation. Okay, so that's what will happen. Hopefully there won't be any cancellations. I'm making a video right now, and I usually record the course, and I will try to make those. I have a playlist on YouTube anyways, and as I'm uploading stuff, I'll make that available to you anyways, because if you are absent for some reason, then you can watch the class on YouTube. So, but definitely if we have a class cancellation for some reason, that's what I will do. So I just put that in the syllabus so you know. If I am 20 minutes late to class, like a dump truck rolls over on Sumney Pike Town Road or Sumney Town Pike Road, and I can't get here, and I'm like 20 minutes late, then just consider the class canceled. That's my cutoff, because sometimes people wonder, is it 15 minutes? What's the standard? 20 minutes, I think that's long enough. If I'm not here by then, or if I'm just walking through the door in 20 minutes, that's not really enough time to do much in the class after that. So you should consider it canceled and you can leave if I'm late 20 minutes. Let's see, is there anything important else I have to say? No, I think I said that. There's the IT services information. Oh, yeah, obviously, I think I mentioned this, but I'll say it again. Yes, you can use your computers in class, but please be paying attention. And the two more things I want to point out to you. This is other information you can look at in the syllabus yourself. It's not that it's not important, but it's not important enough, I think, to keep you here. In the classroom, let's have a respectful dialogue. Okay, we'll be talking about stuff. You should feel safe and comfortable to express your views. You're not going to make me angry if you don't say what you think. I think, because he's a religious guy, so I love Jesus too, Dr. Dunn. It's like, no, okay, great, that's wonderful. I might like that. I might not like it. Who knows? I could be a closet atheist. Who knows? Shh. No. But anyways, but you should feel safe to express your mind. Just, of course, do it in a respectful way, as with any social environment. You don't need to use foul language or bawdy, sexually suggestive language. You can state your opinion. Just the fact that you state an opinion that someone doesn't agree with is not, to me, harmful or threatening. I don't consider that. So I'm not going to penalize anyone for it. If disagreement is not offense necessarily, it's just disagreement, even if it's a very strong disagreement, even on your vision of life and how things should be. Because that's, you're going to find that outside these walls, baby. People think, act, believe differently than you do on a lot of different things. So we all have to cohabit with each other. So in this classroom, I just wanted to say that. Try to come to class in the appropriate manner. Don't come drunk or high. I'm not saying it's never happened before. Very infrequently, but, anyways. Come to class clothed. I mean, maybe you're a nudist, but I appreciate that. Or a Jane. Who knows? It's part of my religion, Dr. Dunn. We walk around naked. Okay. Do it at the temple, please. Although maybe, I don't know, I might have to accommodate. Who knows? But please, try to come to class in a proper manner and behave be in a proper state of mind. If you're not, I might have to ask you to leave or do something. But I outline everything that will happen here in the syllabus. So if you're curious, then you should look at the syllabus. All right, the only other thing I want to say, and then you can go, there's miscellaneous information you should know, but I'm not going to go over that because it's in the syllabus, and if you need to know it, look for it, okay? Look at the syllabus, look it over, speed read it or whatever, because it's a contract, and I don't want you to be surprised. If you do need an accommodation, if you have a disability or a chronic mental condition, you have to self-identify to the university. Okay, it's not enough to just tell me. I can't provide any accommodations. I'm not supposed to, all right? We have to follow the legal process. So you have to go to the Office of Accessibility Services and identify them yourself to them, give them paperwork. If they think it's valid, they'll give you a letter to give to me, okay? That's the only way it can happen through that process. So you can tell me, but, but there's nothing really I can do to accommodate you. So that's the last thing I wanted to say. If you do have needed accommodation, a disability accommodation, do that. Read the section and do what you're supposed to do for that. Okay, that's fine. I'm done. I will see you Thursday, and we will begin the course more formally on Thursday, the informational part of the course, I guess. And have a good day. Thank you. You're welcome. People don't want to leave. You too, miss. Thank you. Have a good day. Okay.
I just want to say, so I know when I'll be absent because I have a trip that was planned like last year, but it's only one day, only Thursday,
Oh, okay.
October 17th.
Okay.
So, because I knew that we were going to have a break, so
Yeah.
we'll have off that Tuesday, but not Thursday.
Okay, that's fine. Then you should just again email me so I have that.
Okay.
For my
I just want to let you know, and
Please. Yeah, no, you're telling me
yeah.
very far in advance, but also for my memory because I won't. I usually don't remember.
Yeah. Okay, I will.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you.
For the Christian faith class, you said just to read 16 chapters for Thursday.
The whole Gospel of Mark, which is 16 chapters.
Yeah. What if I don't have the book by then?
You mean the Bible?
Yeah.
Oh, you can find it online.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just worried if I.
Yeah. No, just search if you even just search for the New American Bible Revised Edition. It'll take you to the the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops website, and it's all there.
Okay.
Okay, for free. If you don't want to buy something.
Okay.
So
I only just need the Bible. Do I need the other book?
I think you should have the Catechism. There's going to be a lot of reading from the Catechism. Again, you can find the Catechism online for free if you want.
Okay.
So if you don't, that's your choice. But, I'm going to say yes, buy the Catechism.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Have a good day.
You too. No. Okay. Have a good day, people in TV land.